I am coming for them all. Every single one of them who thought they could erase me, who believed I would crumble, that my wounds would hold me back. But they were wrong. I am still here, stronger than ever, fiercer than ever. I walked through the fire. I let its flames touch my skin, let it burn away every weakness, every hesitation. I have fallen, my bones have shattered, my soul has been torn apart. But each time, I have risen again. If they thought they had destroyed me, then they never truly understood who I am. They measured me against their own fears, their own fragility. But I am not them. I never was. I have carried the weight of this world on my shoulders. I have felt its pressure try to crush my bones. But I did not break. Every wound I have endured, every betrayal I have faced, has only made me stronger. If they wanted me to kneel, they should have struck harder, cut deeper, buried me in a place where no light could ever reach. But they failed. They left me alive, and that was their greatest mistake. I have drowned in the silence of betrayal. The hands that once felt warm turned into daggers in the dark. The whispers that once brought comfort now echo with cold deceit. But I emerged from that darkness, not with help, not with mercy, but with sheer, unbreakable will. They shattered me, turned me to dust, but what rises from dust cannot be broken again. I have been reborn, but this time, nothing of who I was remains. Every scar they left on me is now a mark of survival, a testament to the battles I endured, to the strength I gained. They lied. They thought they could cast me aside, that I was nothing more than an obstacle to be forgotten. But now they will hear my footsteps. I have arrived. They built their thrones on deception, on power stolen from the weak. They ruled over illusions and convinced themselves they were untouchable. But they made a mistake. They let me live, and now their downfall is inevitable. This is not about vengeance. Vengeance is personal. This is something greater, something deeper. Justice. A force older than words, older than the lies they tell themselves at night. A force that does not bargain, does not waver, does not show mercy. It only moves forward, unstoppable, consuming all in its path. I have bled, but I did not break. I have suffered, but I did not surrender. Every defeat, every wound, every betrayal, they were all fuel for the fire that now burns behind my eyes. I fell, but they should have buried me deep enough that I could never rise again. They failed, and now their failure is a countdown they cannot escape. I feel no fear. I feel no doubt. I feel nothing but the certainty of what must be done. I move in silence. I do not announce my arrival with words. By the time they hear my footsteps, it will already be too late. I will not ask for explanations. I will not wait for justifications, apologies, or pleas. The time for words has passed. The time for reckoning has come. Look at me. Look closely. I do not ask for respect. I do not demand recognition. I take it, just as I have taken everything else. My strength is not an accident, not a gift. It is the product of every trial I have endured, every battle I have fought, every time I rose when the world wanted me to stay down. And so I rise again, not for revenge, not to prove them wrong, but because this is who I am, because I am unstoppable, because the fire in my chest burns hotter with every challenge, every doubt, every whispered word of defeat. I am the one who stands when no one else can. I am the exception to their rules, the anomaly they cannot explain, the force they cannot control. They thought they could bury me. They thought they could silence me, but they only planted the seed of their own undoing. I rise for me. I rise because I know my worth, my power, my destiny. No one gave it to me. No one can take it away. It is mine, and mine alone. This is not about glory. It is not about triumph. It is about sacrifice, the kind that takes everything you love and still demands more. It is the hunger that gnaws at you when you have nothing left to give, but you dig deeper anyway. I have lost count of the nights I have stayed awake, haunted by the ghosts of what I gave up. I have heard their whispers in the dark, felt their claws on my shoulders, dragging me back toward the past. But I never stopped. I never let myself stop. Do you know what it feels like to give everything and get nothing in return? To pour your soul into something only to watch it turn to ash in your hands. I do. I have been there. I have tasted that bitterness, felt that hollow ache that never fades. Sacrifice does not reward you. It does not make you a hero. It breaks you. It tears you apart, piece by piece, until there is nothing left but the raw, bleeding core of who you are. And then it asks for more. But I do not need love. I do not need acceptance or approval or forgiveness. Those things are for the weak, for those who still cling to the illusion of safety. I have no illusions left, only truth. And the truth is this: I am stronger than I have ever been, stronger than they could ever imagine. They cannot break me again. They cannot hurt me, bend me, or use me. I am untouchable. I am a force that moves through this world without fear or regret. If that makes me a monster, so be it. Monsters are not born. They are made. And I was made by the hands of those who thought they could control me, who thought they could destroy me, who thought they could leave me for dead and walk away unscathed. They were wrong. I am the consequence of their actions. I am the shadow of their sins. I am the reckoning they never saw coming. And I regret nothing, because I am no longer human. I am something far beyond it. I am something they will never understand, something they will never be able to name, something like the storm itself, and I would not have it any other way. My shadow stretches over the walls of their false palaces. They feel it. Their breaths grow heavy, their blood thickens in their veins. Fear gnaws at their insides, yet they still refuse to speak it aloud. They still lie to themselves. But the time has come. The time for truth to step out of the shadows. The time for them to witness how the illusions they built, the crowns they forged from stolen power, the thrones they erected upon deception, all of it is nothing in the face of the storm that has now awakened. They thought themselves untouchable. They sat in their high towers, behind walls of deceit, within fortresses of delusion. They believed no one would ever reach them. But I always reach them. I do not wait. I do not hesitate. I do not hide in silence. I am the wave that crushes the shore, the fire that swallows the forests, the ground that cracks beneath their feet. They may deceive others, but they cannot deceive me. I see through them. And truth, no matter how deeply buried, always finds a way to surface. Those who sought to break me, those who thought they had ended me, now cower behind their crumbling walls. But no wall will save them. No fortress will withstand what is coming. I move without sound. I carry no words for negotiation. There is nothing left to say. The time for explanations is over. The time for reckoning has begun. They never believed a day would come when they would look up and see a shadow looming over them. They never believed the storm they mocked would finally arrive. They thought they had buried me, but they never realized that they had merely planted a seed. And now, I have grown. Now my roots have wrapped around their foundations. Now it is time to reap what has been sown. Even now they cling to a sliver of hope. Even now in the darkest corners of their minds, they whisper to themselves that there may still be a way out, a path to escape. But there is none. There never was. I am not a shadow they can hide from. I am not a monster they can slay. I am the truth they can no longer ignore. They should have known from the moment they heard my footsteps that their time was up. There is no more time for negotiations. There is no more room for regret. They had their chances. Every moment that passed, they had a choice. And every time, they chose deception. They chose to betray, to rule through fear, to drape themselves in stolen crowns. And now they will witness the weight of their choices. I ask for nothing from them. Not explanations, not apologies, not mercy. I do not care for their words. The only thing I desire is what was always mine: justice. Those who walked upon the blood of others will now drown in their own. Those who crowned themselves with lies will now find their crowns too heavy to bear. I have come to tear them down from their thrones. I have come to bind them in the chains they once placed upon others. I have come to hear the sound of their downfall. There is no turning back. There is no hope left. They should have stopped me when they had the chance. They should have done something when they still had time. But they didn't. And now, they will pay the price. Nothing lasts forever. Not power, not crowns, not the thrones built upon lies and deception. They always knew this, yet they never had the courage to accept it. Now they have no choice. They hear it now, the sound of breaking, the sound of walls crumbling, foundations trembling. They still hold on to hope. They still believe that maybe, just maybe, salvation will come. But I see no miracles. The only thing that awaits them is the end they never thought would arrive. They forgot that no empire lasts forever. Every power eventually falls. They convinced themselves that they were the exception, that they could escape the laws of the world. But no one is exempt from this fate. I have come for that very reason, to tear down what they believe to be eternal, to remind them that no crown is unbreakable, no rule unshakable. They still do not believe. Even now, in the depths of their terror, they whisper to themselves that perhaps they can still be saved, that perhaps there is still a way out. There is not. There never was. I am not a shadow they can hide from. I am not a monster they can fight. I am the truth they can no longer deny. They should have realized this long ago. From the moment they heard my footsteps, they should have understood that their time was up. The time for pleading is over. The time for regrets has run dry. They had choices. They had every opportunity to change their course, to alter their fate, but they did not. They chose deception. They chose to rule through fear. They chose to sit upon stolen thrones and believe they were gods among men. And now they will witness the weight of their decisions. I seek nothing from them. No explanations. No apologies, no pleas. I do not care for their words. The only thing I seek is what was always meant to be: retribution. Those who walked on the backs of the weak will now feel the ground collapse beneath their feet. Those who crowned themselves with arrogance will now find their crowns turned to shackles. I have come to strip them of the power they stole. I have come to show them the consequences they thought they could escape. I have come to hear the sound of their world collapsing. There is no turning back. There is no hope left for them. They should have ended me when they had the chance. They should have buried me deep enough that I could never rise again. But they failed, and now their failure has become their countdown to ruin. Everything has led to this moment. A heavy silence lingers in the air. The final act of their downfall is here. The moment when there is no escape, no salvation, no more illusions to cling to. Their power is gone. Their crowns have fallen, their thrones are dust, and the chains they once used to shackle others now weigh upon their own wrists. All that remains is the truth they spent their lives running from, a truth they can no longer ignore. I see the fear in their eyes, not fear of me. No, their terror is deeper than that. They fear themselves. They fear the choices they made, the paths they walked, the corruption that seeped into their veins long before I arrived. They thought they could escape the consequences of their actions, that they could rewrite fate in their favor. But fate cannot be rewritten. It only waits for its time, and that time is now. I do not ask for explanations. I do not wait for apologies. Nothing they say will change what must happen. Their time has run out. Every collapse begins long before the final breaking point. Walls do not shatter all at once. They crack first, splintering beneath the weight of their own weakness. Thrones do not vanish in an instant. They decay, rotting from within. These people, these rulers of illusion, had fallen long before I arrived. I am only here to ensure they see it for themselves. I did not come to destroy. I came to bring an end. This is the end of an era, the end of those who believed themselves untouchable, the end of power stolen through lies and deceit, the end of those who thought they could rule forever while keeping others in chains. But nothing lasts forever. The world always finds a way to break free, and today, it has. Today, truth wears the crown. They have no words left. Their tongues fail them, their breaths come shallow and weak. They know, it is over. But this is not just an ending. Every ending is a beginning. Every fall clears the way for something new to rise. But not for them. For those who lived in their shadow. For those who suffered under their rule. For those who now, in the quiet after the storm, feel the first stirrings of hope. This end is their beginning. And me, I walk forward through the ruin. There is nothing left for me here. What needed to be done has been done. What needed to fall has fallen. Those who needed to learn the truth have seen it with their own eyes. And just as I rose from the darkness, just as I walked through the flames, just as I emerged from the ashes, now I move on. The future ahead is unchained. A world without false kings, without stolen power, without deception weighing it down. And I, unstoppable, fearless, unrepentant, continue forward. Because I am more than what they knew. Because I have become something beyond them. Because I am not just a person anymore. I am the storm that will never fade.